Okay, so in the brain, what lobe does hearing play a part in? We've got our split up lobes. We have occipital. Oh, sorry, that actually goes in the back. We have occipital, frontal, parietal, and temporal.
Isn't it occipital?
Occipital is sight. So temporal is hearing and language. And within that temporal lobe, do you know what the part of the brain is called that kind of controls all of the auditory information?
Isn't it area A1?
Correct. Area A1. Cool. So within area A1, that's where we do our hearing and our listening. So there's a couple things that happen with hearing. There's something called pitch, something called loudness, and something called timbre. If you had to give me your best definition of pitch, what would it be?
How high or low sound is.
How what it is?
How like low or high it is.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. What's a good example of like when we use pitch?
I feel like pitch can be just like when you're talking to somebody, if you're like whispering or in hushed tones because a baby's sleeping or you're trying to be quiet versus being loud and obnoxious because it's Friday night and you want to have fun with friends, like being loud.
Good, that's actually more loudness, what you're spot on about. Pitch is more like if you know somebody that sings, it would be like they sing as a tenor or a baritone.
So like the type of voice you have.
So when we talk how low or high, we're not talking volume, we're talking literally as in how it's perceived as pitch. Right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you had to give me your best definition of loudness, what would you say?
How intense it is.
Yep. How intense the volume is. If it's louder, it's obviously more intense. If it's quieter, it's obviously less intense. So that would be the perfect spot for your example. We measure loudness because we know that we're quiet when there's a baby sleeping, but loud when out with the girls. Good. Okay. What about timbre, if you had to give me your best definition of that?
Based on like somebody listening to like a certain sound.
Mm-hmm. Let's look. Listeners' experience of sound quality of resonance. Okay. So when we talk about timbre, we're talking about sound quality. Okay. Can you hear it? Can you not hear it? Does it sound like it's far away? Does it sound like it's close? If you had to give me an example of that, what would you say?
Like when they check your hearing at the doctors and like you have
Good.
a little headset thingy on, you're like, raise your right hand if you hear it on this side, raise your left if you hear it on this side, or say this when you hear it, or whatever type of thing.
Yeah, that actually measures all of these, but good. So sound quality would be like you have poor sound quality if you have a constant ringing in your ears. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Any questions on pitch, loudness, or timbre? Okay. So from there, let's talk about the parts of the ear. So again, my very crude drawing of an ear. Okay. So there's a few that they want you to know, including, go ahead and list them off with me, the cochlea,
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
And then, what?
The basilar membrane. I don't know if I'm saying
Where are
that.
you looking at?
There's that.
Yeah.
There's
I
some-
think you're right, the basilar membrane. Uh-huh. And then what?
The hair cell, and then there's area A1.
Hair cells. Which are also called ossicles, if I'm right.
Which one? This one?
Yep, here they are. See, they're called the ossicles. Okay. What is a cochlea, Amanda?
It's a fluid-filled tube. That it's like an organ that helps you hear stuff.
Yep. So the fluid-filled tube that helps hear stuff. Also helps us with our balance. Do you know why you get dizzy when you spin in a circle? It's because that fluid, it's like on a level, right? You know when we test if something's straight on the wall because it stays within the level?
Yeah.
Well, there's a level in your brain, and if that level gets set out of whack, then, and that's with an E, isn't it? Oops. If the level gets out of whack, then we get dizzy because our sense of balance is messed up. Okay. All right. If you had to tell me what a basilar membrane is, what would you say?
It's the inner ear, and it vibrates
Inner ear
when it reaches the
vibrates.
fluid-filled tube.
Mm-hmm. So this helps us because that's how we can understand the pitch and loudness of something because of how soft or harsh those vibrations are. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about the hair cells or the ossicles? What did they do?
They're receptors that
Receptors.
are embedded in the brain.
Yep. So the hair cells kind of are what transmit what we're hearing into our senses in the brain. So into area A1, okay? All of these are parts of the ear that work with area A1. And they're usually more in the inner ear, okay? So, here's our earlobe and stuff like that. Any questions on the ear?
Mm-hmm.